This is Frank with Eternal Rock Construction. In this video, we're going to show you how to pour and finish a sand finish concrete back patio area. Please stay tuned until the end so you can see the entire process. Welcome back to our YouTube channel. If this is your first time here and you want to learn how to pour all kinds of concrete work with proper finishing techniques, then you're in the best place here on YouTube, since that's all we do as a company. Please consider subscribing to our YouTube channel and activate the notification bell so that you don't miss out on any future videos, since we try to upload 1 to 2 videos per week. Here we have approximately 1,100 square foot of concrete back patio space with walkways. We're going to be including rebar number 4 at 24 inches on center. And this is some of the prep work we're doing before we pour, just making sure we have plastic on all of the building. And then we also like to spray the gravel surface. That way it keeps it moist, and it's going to help us out on this warm day that we're going to be pouring all the concrete. And we also cover these little catch basin boxes, the drains. We have 2 of them in the back patio area. We're just going to cover them with a piece of plastic. That way they stay clean during the pouring process. And right here we're using a pump. We're using a wheelbarrow to take some of the concrete into this left side area where the walkway is. So we're just gonna be using that wheelbarrow, taking it over there and just pouring it around the foundation of the house. We're gonna pump that area as well, but we were having a little bit of complications, so we decided just to pump it a little bit back and just wheelbarrow this little section. So we started to pour over here up against the house. We have the siding and then the foundation underneath. And the rebar, we're gonna make sure to pull it up manually as we're pouring it, so that way it's right in between the concrete area. And we basically just getting one of our hand flow tools, and we're floating the concrete directly up against the foundation of the house. And we're just making sure that the hand flow can fit just underneath the siding. This is the little walkway section on the side of the house. We have a little wooden screed board. We cut this to size so it fits the width-wise, and we can maneuver it very easily. So with the screed board, we always like to run it horizontally and also vertically, so that way we have the level on all directions. And once we do that, we just leave it alone, and then after that we're gonna run the more tools, we're gonna work the surface a little bit more. And right here we have a longer screed board. This gives us a larger area we can level, since there was one little section that was kind of ramping down a slight bit. And then over here with the longer screed board, it's a little bit more level. So we use different screed board sizes for different levels that we're following. Right here we're pouring up against the wall, and you can see the blue chalk line. That's our reference line that we're using for the level of the concrete. So we're just pumping the concrete wherever it's needed, lifting up the rebar manually by hand. Like you see right there, we're just lifting it up, making sure that it's directly in between all of the concrete. And then we have those come-along rakes. We always have those there on hand because that's the proper way to move the concrete around, the most efficient way. and we have that longer screed board. So we float all of the edges, and then from there we get the screed board. And the screed board, we're following the same level where we floated it by hand, and we're just pulling the concrete. In this area is more level, and we always have a level on hand just to double check. We check both sides of the concrete surface, and right there it's perfect. It's nice and level where we need it to be. And then over here we start using the mag float. So we're gonna use that to float the surface in that little walkway section. We're gonna run that, and then we're also using this bull float right here. We run it in one direction, and at the same time we're also running it in the opposite direction. You always want to make sure that you float it on both sides, so that way the level, it's nice and even in both directions. We've seen people just float it one way, but then that can cause issues, and the concrete may not be fully leveled. So this is the best way to do it. You want to run it in multiple directions. Like I said, this area right here is a little bit more level, and we're continuing to use the mag float right over there, just getting all that surface. And then we have a really long screed board right here. On the right side, it's resting on the catch basin drain. On the left side, it's following the level that we had already set up with the hand floats, and that's what we're using the screed board. So it will give us a continual long surface, so it follows a slope from the left side of the house all the way to the catch basin. And any excess concrete material, we're just pulling it and just moving it around, so just fills in the other areas that are a little bit low. And then all the other little pieces, we just get the smaller screed boards, and we just run that screed board from one direction, from the other side, and that will just continue the level. So everything kind of starts a little bit more level there, and then from there it's going to have a slight slope. You can see there's a little metal stake right there. We use that to guide ourselves with the level as well. We just pound it out into the ground, and we put a little nail, so that's a little reference point that it helps you. And right here we have the bull float, so we're running that in a little round, movement, and we're just, whatever the level is going, we're also running the tool in that same direction, so it just gives us a really nice leveled surface. And right there we're using the mag float again. We're going to use that on the entire surface. We're almost done over there with the walkway area, and we're going to continue that into this main patio. Now this house has like 2 separate patio spaces. This is one of them, and we're going to be pouring it in 2 separate trucks. Right now we're pouring the first truck, which has 9 yards, and we're going to pour the second truck as well in with the other 9 yards. That's going to cover the other half of the the back patio area, and also the right side walkway. And we're using peat gravel in the mix, so that has a smaller size rocks. Total yards are 18. And we're just following the same process, floating the area all along the edges, and then using the screed board to move it right in between. And we're just screeding it in different directions. And then after we do that, we run the bull float on the entire surface. So that helps us to even everything out and to get a nice float. So this is how everything is looking so far. We're almost done right here with the first truck. We're going to end it right in this area. We're going to set up a form board, so that way we have a nice straight edge. And then after that, we're going to get into this first part of the project, and we're gonna get in there with the knee pads so that way we can work the surface. Here we have one of our gentlemen right here, Jose, got in there with the knee pads. Actually, both of them, their names are Jose. So they have their knee pads right there, and they just have two tools. One of them is the Fresno tool, and the other one is the mag float. So first they run the mag float on the surface like you see right here. After they run their mag float tool, then they use the Fresno like you see right there. They're just gliding it from one side to the other side, and that creates a really nice smooth surface and texture. And by working the concrete this way, they're pushing all of the rocks down further into the concrete area, so that way on the surface all you're gonna get is a nice sand finish. And in order to get a beautiful sand finish, you have to do all this work that you're seeing right here. You have to work the surface, you have to really get down in there and just work these tools into the concrete in combination with the mag float and the Fresno. So you do the one first, and then you hit it with that Fresno right there. And by doing all of this work, we're gonna do it 2 separate times. This is the first time, and then we're gonna go in and do it again once it dries a little bit more. And once we do that, it will be ready. So then afterwards, we're gonna spray the retarder liquid on it, and then we're just gonna come back the following day to pressure wash it, and it's gonna give us that really beautiful sand finish look in all of this area. So this is another one of our workers, Jose. He's getting a feel for it. If there's any low spots, he fills it in and then just works that into the concrete area, and then he just works it with the mag float. And once he preps the area with the mag float, then he will work it with his Fresno. And this is the results after going the first time around. You can see all of the marks from the area that they already went over. So, and this is something that we just have to do on the entire concrete surface. So that's why those knee pads as well, they come in very handy. So right here we have a good portion already covered. We're going to continue this all the way to the end. We have a couple more workers over there. And so that's pretty much the process of prepping, so that way we can get professional results and good quality workmanship. Right here we have one of the catch basins. All of the concrete slopes down into that drain, and we're gonna have another one here in this second area. So we have already a form board over there that we temporarily put in, and that gives us a nice clean edge. This is the results after the first time we went through. You can see right there how the surface looks, and it still looks pretty fresh, pretty moist. We gotta allow this to dry a little bit more, and then we're gonna go in there a second time and do the same thing. So like you can tell, this takes a lot of work. It is, some decent amount of labor is required to get it to the consistency that we need it, but honestly, it is completely worth it. And all of these guys, they really love what they do. If you ask any of them, they will say, you know what, I love working with concrete. It's their passion, and they just try to do it the best they can. So right here we have 3 separate workers, all of them on their knee pads. They're all pretty much doing the same thing. This is the retarder liquid we're gonna use. It's a Top Cast Dayton Superior number 03. This is especially made for the sand finish surface. So we're gonna be putting that. And this is the hand pump that we're gonna utilize. It's a commercial grade, heavy duty hand pump made by Chapin. And so we're gonna do that in a little bit. This is the second time we're doing it. So once we do that, it's pretty much ready. And like you can see right here, we're just applying the liquid on all of the surface. And all we got to do now is just come in the next day. We're going to pressure wash everything and just expose that really beautiful sand finish. So that's pretty much the process of how we pour and finish the sand finish concrete back patio area. And I have other videos as well of where we actually do the actual expose. We pressure wash and expose it to get that. So please check out our YouTube channel. You'll see a lot more videos there, and you'll see some that shows how we do the expose finish on there. But that's pretty much the process from start to finish. This just shows the second part of the concrete that we worked. And so we're just spraying that liquid, making sure that we get a nice thick coating on top and that it's nice and consistent. So you just got to make sure that you have a nice heavy application on the entire surface, and then you just let it sit there overnight. And we're going to come back the following day to pressure wash it, and we're also going to do the joints. In this case, we're going to saw cut all the joints, so that will help us control the cracks. So we really hope you like this video. Please consider subscribing to our YouTube channel, so that way you don't miss out any more videos that we're going to be uploading in the near future. In our company, all we do is concrete work, so you're going to see a lot of different videos of many projects that we do, and we try to upload at least 1 to 2 videos per week. So after all of our hard work, all of the dedication that we put into this, thankfully we were able to control all of the concrete work, even though we did have some challenges. But at the end, everything turned out very beautifully. You can see right there, we have a nice, beautiful, even surface. Everything's sloping where it needs to be. We applied the retarder liquid all over the place, nice and even. All the levels are following towards the drains and everything. We have this open area that we're going to be pouring here in the next few hours. We are leaving for now, but we'll see you on the next one. May God bless you, and hope you have a wonderful day.